Have you heard the rumors? More and more people are leaving Gainesville, Florida. But wait, why would anyone want to leave this college town with great weather, a laid-back vibe, and the best sports team around? I was wondering that too, but then I started hearing the same complaints over and over again. Turns out there are some very real reasons why people are leaving Gainesville, and I'm going to break them down for you. From rising insurance costs to property taxes to traffic that makes you want to scream into your steering wheel, we're covering it all. Now, before you click away, don't get me wrong, I love Gainesville. I live here. I am not moving away. But if you've been Googling things like why are people leaving Gainesville or pros and cons of leaving Gainesville, Florida, this video is going to give you the full picture and maybe some laughs along the way, or not. So grab a snack, hit the like button, and let's talk about why some locals are saying, I'm out. All right, first up, let's talk about the one that's hitting everybody's wallet, and that is property taxes and insurance. If you live in Gainesville, you've probably noticed that your property insurance has gone up and up and up and up some more. I have had people tell me that their home insurance has doubled in the last year, and I know that's true because mine has. And not because anybody has filed a claim, and not because they've changed anything in their home, just because welcome to Florida. And it's not just home insurance, it's property taxes too. That $300,000 home that you bought in Alachua County a few years ago, now you are paying thousands of dollars more in insurance and property taxes combined. Let me break it down. A home in Gainesville for $300,000 might pay around $4,500 a year for insurance and property taxes combined. A similar home in Ocala would be between $2,500 to $3,000 a year for insurance and property taxes combined. Over time, that can be $1,000 to $2,000 a year in savings. That's money that you could be saving up for retirement, a vacation, or let's be real, eggs these days. So between higher insurance premium, property taxes, and the overall cost of living in Gainesville, many people are saying, you know what? Let's see if we can find a more affordable place to live. And guess where they're going? Places with lower property taxes, lower cost of living, lower insurance costs, places like Ocala, Lake City, and even crossing the border and going into Georgia. So yeah, insurance and property taxes, they are no joke here in Gainesville, and for some people it's the last straw. But wait, it's not just the money. Next, we got to talk about something that is going to test your patience every single day, and that is traffic and infrastructure. This is something that everybody complains about in Gainesville, Florida. Traffic. Look, Gainesville is not a big city like Tampa, Miami, or Orlando, but for its size, it has some serious traffic problems. If you have ever been stuck on Southwest Archer Road, 13th Street, or Newberry Road around 5 o'clock, you know exactly what I mean. Gainesville has grown a lot over these past few years. We've got more students, more families, more retirees, more professionals. But you know what hasn't grown? The roads, the infrastructure, and the patience of drivers. Seriously, we've got more people, but we got the same old roads. And when university is in season, forget about it. Between students, buses, and football games, good luck getting anywhere on time. So after a while, that daily traffic grind just wears people down. People start thinking, why am I paying so much to live here and sitting in traffic all the time? Some people are thinking they want a quieter town with less congestion. I have had clients tell me that they moved because they didn't want to spend 30 minutes having to go just 5 miles, or they didn't want their kids to have to cross 4 lanes of traffic to go to school. If you've been searching leaving Gainesville, Florida, or moving out of Gainesville, Florida because the traffic is driving you nuts, you are not alone. Traffic has become a real deal breaker for so many people. But next, let's talk about the job market, because it's not all sunshine and football games trying to find a good paying job in Gainesville. Let's be real. Gainesville's job market, it's kind of tricky. Unless you're planning to work for Shands Hospital, UF, or the school system, good paying jobs are hard to come by. Outside of healthcare and education, the pickings are kind of slim, and there's not that many jobs here that are paying big city salaries. See, Gainesville is amazing for students and folks seeking medical and university careers. But for people in tech, marketing, finance, and other industries, the opportunities can feel limited. I have had many clients tell me when I was selling their home that they just couldn't further their career here. So they had to move to places like North Carolina, Tampa, Orlando, and Jacksonville. They needed better pay, and that is a real thing. When you are stuck in a job that is barely keeping up with the cost of living, it's hard to justify staying. And here's the kicker: wages haven't kept up with the home prices and the cost of living. So while home prices in Gainesville are less expensive than Miami or Tampa, it's still going up. And the jobs, not paying much more. Translation, you need 2 or 3 side hustles to be able to cover your eggs, your gas, and your insurance. So for young families, professionals, and folks trying to build a career outside of medical and education, it just makes sense to leave. If you've been searching moving out of Gainesville, Florida, or Gainesville, Florida job market, you're not alone. That is one of the biggest reasons that people are packing up. Gainesville's job market is great if you are working in specific industries. But if you're not in those fields, it's a tough climb. And coming up next, we are going to talk about the weather, the bugs, and the hurricanes because, that is not for everyone. Hey, if you are thinking about moving to Gainesville in the next 2 months or 2 years, be sure to click on the link below or scan the QR code and let's chat. No pressure, just conversation. All right, let's move on to weather. If you've lived in Gainesville for more than 5 minutes, then you know what I'm going to say. It's not just hot, it's humid, and you're sticky before 9 a.m. Summers in Gainesville, let's just say you are either inside, in the shade, or you've got a fan. And do not forget about the rain. We have thunderstorms every afternoon from June to September. Oh, and let's not forget about the bugs. We got fire ants, we've got mosquitoes, we've got palmetto bugs, also known as giant flying cockroaches. Living in Gainesville often feels like a showdown with nature. I swear, bugs here are different. I have seen those flying cockroaches that are so big I thought they should have their own driver's license. Now, we are a little more inland, so Gainesville doesn't get the direct hit from hurricanes that Miami and Tampa would get. But we still get the hurricane warnings, heavy rains, power outages, and getting to stand in line at the grocery store for water and batteries. Every June it is the same thing. Stock up on battery, water, flashlights, candles, and pray the power stays on. For some people, the heat, the humidity, the hurricanes, and the bugs, it just wears them down. I have had clients tell me that they are moving to a place with less extreme weather, lower humidity, and get this, a change in seasons. Like imagine leaves changing colors, wearing a sweater when you go get your mail at the mailbox. It sounds magical and not real. So if you've been Googling living in Gainesville, Florida, or Gainesville, Florida weather, wondering if you could handle it for the long term, this is something to think about. It's hot, it's humid, it rains a lot, we have bugs. Coming up next, we're going to talk about something a little bit deeper, the culture and vibe of Gainesville, because that's also pushing some people to leave. So this one is a little more personal, and it really depends on who you are and what you are looking for in a community. Some people are leaving Gainesville, Florida because they feel like the culture and the political vibe is no longer what they are looking for. You might have heard that Gainesville is the blue dot in the red state. And for some, that's a plus. But for others, not so much. Maybe you moved here thinking it's a college town with a lot of diversity and energy, but found that it's a little slower and a little smaller than you might have expected. Or you wanted a more rural conservative vibe, but realized that Gainesville's got a more progressive feel compared to the surrounding areas. It's one of those things you don't really know until you live here. I've had sellers tell me that they wanted to move to a place that more aligned with their values, whether that's politically, socially, or just day to day. Others are leaving because they're looking for bigger cities, more diversity, or different opportunities. And hey, there is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just need a change of scenery that feels like a better fit. If you've been Googling things like Gainesville, Florida pros and cons, or moving out of Gainesville, Florida, this is definitely one of those soft reasons why people are leaving. It's not about the traffic and the infrastructure. It's about the vibe and the community. So there you have it. Traffic, insurance, taxes, jobs, weather, and yes, even politics and culture. All reasons why some people are packing up and moving out of Gainesville, Florida. But does that mean that Gainesville is a bad place to live? Absolutely not. It just means that it's not for everyone. I know I've just covered a lot of reasons why people are leaving Gainesville, Florida. But here's the thing. For every person that's leaving, there is at least one or more people moving into Florida. People are still choosing Gainesville because it's one of the more affordable cities compared to Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. It has got a strong healthcare hub thanks to UF Health and Shands Hospital. It is a great college town. I mean, go Gators. And for some, they love that smaller town vibe while still being close to bigger cities. So while some folks are leaving Gainesville, there are plenty of people coming in and saying, yep, this is the place for me. Are you curious why people are moving to Gainesville? Well, I have a full video coming up that we're going to break down the top reasons why people are moving to Gainesville, Florida. And you are not going to want to miss it. So if in the next 2 months or the next 2 years, you are thinking about moving to Gainesville, Florida, I would love to chat with you. Make sure that you click on the link in the description below or scan the QR code and let's schedule a time to talk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.